Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. I have to laugh. This is probably start number 57, and at the rate I'm going, it'll be good afternoon, Flosstube, by the time I actually get it right. So fingers crossed that this one works well. If you are new, oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing play. Usually I'm a little bit less scattered, but today may be a little bit scattery. I hope you like what you see though. I hope you like the stitching. I would love to know more about you and what you like to stitch, and let's chat stitching. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for also pressing play and for being here. Oh, I need stitchy friends this week for sure. So I'm so glad to be here and to talk stitching and to share stitching with you because, whew, yeah, you know, some weeks you really rely on things to help you a little bit more. And this week was definitely, let's dive into the stitching kind of week. So yeah, so let's do it. So before I show you my stitching, I do want to highlight our Flosstuber state of the week is Georgia. And we didn't come up with too many, so I'm sure there's more out there that you can help us with. We came up with Crafty Cat Stitcher. Kathy, sending you all the healing vibes, and you are recovered quickly and can get back to stitching. Lickety split. I was gonna say Dina, but it's half stitch cross stitch Dina. I think that's how it's. I try to do them alphabetical. And Sound Mind Stitching. That's it. We came up with 3, which is why I actually relied on my memory. Normally I wouldn't do that. So if you yourself are a Georgia Flosstuber or you know of others, please let me know. I would love to add them to the list. I am keeping a list on my computer and hopefully adding to it each and every time I hear about some more. Okay. And then, oh, we have a show and tell video coming, trading cards. We wrapped up the postal cycle, waiting for the post office to send what it needed to send and get them all to me. And then that means they all get done in a video and you get to see them as a show and tell. So look for that probably next week. I was figuring you had a lot of extra October videos for me and you were probably tired of seeing me in October. So I figured I'd wait and put it out in November, first week in November. So look for that. And then of course in December, we've got Flossmas. I don't do it every day, but I try to do some fun. I try to do some fun extras. So there'll be some extra videos then too. But for now, there'll be the one extra sometime next week. So look for that. Great creativity. It was Things with Wings was the challenge. And then if you missed that and you would like to try the trading cards, keep an eye out next year. We'll do a few more next year. Alrighty. And then a very, very big thank you for each and every one of you who took the time to stitch pumpkins, pumpkin colored objects, pumpkin adjacent objects, whatever it happened to be for my hashtag pumpkin birthday stitch along, Sal. I am so grateful that you thought about it and you picked something to stitch, or some things. I know some of you stitched more than one that had to do with the stitch along, and it means so much. I don't have here a stitchy kind of group. There's maybe 1 or 2 people that I know of that cross stitch by me, but I don't see them regularly. And so when we do things like this and people are kind of stitching along with the theme or sometimes the same item, right? It just makes you feel good to have that kind of connection that I may not have here in person. So thank you so much. It means so much more than I can even tell you. Thank you. And what I'm going to do with my stitching is, I think when I did the list, yes, I did. I put all of the pieces that have pumpkins on them that I would have stitched for the pumpkin birthday stitch along that I did this week. Not all of them. I think I did 13 in total from old. Yes, there were 13 pieces in total from new starts and old carryovers that I stitched on in October. So I think I hit everything whip-wise that I would have had that had something related to pumpkin on it, I think. So that was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I got Did I finish anything? I think I did. If I look real quick. Or maybe not. Oh, no. Possibly not. But there'll be stitches for next year, and maybe some finishes, and you know, just some more fun. So let's just get going. The very first one was my birthday start, actually. And it was Witch's Hollow from Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was released in a box last year, and I was waiting only semi-patiently for it to be released this year, and it was finally, yay. And I picked up the PDF because I wanted to try it in Pattern Keeper. When I stitched Autumn Town, I stitched that from paper. Now, Autumn Lane Stitchery does a really nice job. Their symbols are different, and you can tell them apart, and it's easy to read the patterns and so on and so forth. So I could do it by paper, and I've done other ones from paper. But given that this has, you know, this part's full coverage up here, and there's just a lot, I decided to give it a try. Now that I have Pattern Keeper, I didn't have it last year. And it was really, it went in like a dream, and it's been working well. So you don't need it, but if you have it and you have the digital, you might want to try it, because if I do digitals otherwise, I just print them. Like, I don't put every digital in Pattern Keeper. A lot of them, I just print a working copy and I go with it that way. But, so that is an option. But if you want to try it, it does work nicely. Here we go. Now, it doesn't, well, it's full coverage, right? So it doesn't look like much. But in the course of the month, now, don't forget, my birthday was the 23rd. So we only had, what, 8 days? I did some last week and then this week. And I believe if I don't know off the top of my head, but I think I might have gotten close to 1,000. I don't know if I hit it exactly. I didn't check on Pattern Keeper. I've said before, unless I'm specifically checking because I'm finishing up a rotation of something, I don't generally look at those numbers very closely. This is done on 18 count genuine Gillian from Those Missing Stitches, and it's probably slightly brighter in real life than it's showing here. Today it is cloudy. The sun's trying to come through. It was sunny this morning. Clouds have filled and it's windy. We're not getting rain though. But the light then is going to be kind of a bright light, but not the sunny light, but fairly bright. That kind of, when you get the clouds, you know, you get kind of that funny color. So I'll do my best, but my colors for my fabrics might be a little off today. I decided, I did some more of the different shades of purple, but I needed something else kind of as a marking point. So we had gotten to the top of one of the, I don't know if they're haunted houses or what, so I decided to put in some black. And that's what I've got. Look at this. Oh, this is actually, thinking about it, I think this is the width. So you can see it's not going to be super wide. And then we've got all this loveliness down below here, and some of this will show through. So excited. Yeah, I'll use this one, I think, for prompts and games and things like that, because there's a lot to it. Autumn Town probably took me a few years to do. I don't remember exactly. And so I want to kind of keep up with this one, because otherwise it could kind of fall by the wayside. And I think once I get the top section done, the others will go a little bit faster. I remember with Autumn Town, I got tired of it for a little bit, and it sat for a long time. But then I put it in as like a 25/7, and it really re-energized me again. So we'll see what happens with this one. Okay, so next, October's Marigold. This is part of the, is it My Garden Journal? Yep, My Garden Journal series from Cottage Garden Samplings. I started this series, one each month, in November of 2022. So November and December got started in 22. All of the rest, including this one, got started in 23. And I'm not pushing myself. This one hopefully will be a finish in 25, because as the month ends, now it may come out for a challenge, but otherwise you won't see it again until next October. These marigolds are no joke. There's probably, what did I say last time? I think it's 3 different colors, but there's some really big counting in them. So you have to be really on the ball with that. Is this the one? Let me double check real quick. Yes. So 2 different greens are charted for this. I didn't like one of them, but I did like the other. So I decided to, there's only going to be 1 shade of green. In the picture, you can see it slightly, but I mean, if you looked quick, you wouldn't necessarily know. And so I kind of like that. I have a 3rd large marigold right here. And then I just have small ones. The greenery will be easy. And then it'll just be finishing the words. So I do think I could get this one done next October. And like I said, who knows, you know, I mean, maybe the letter M will come up and I'll do marigold for it or something along the way before then. So you could see it before next October. But as I look ahead and start thinking about the 2025 Whip Parade, so last year in 24, I did my goals. They were very loose goals for each piece as I was doing them. And I'll do that again. I liked that. Some of the goals I met, some of them I didn't, but I kind of liked it. So that one will be a 2025 finish goal. Next, I pulled this one out. I stitched this one in the car. I like doing this one in the car for some reason. And we were in the car last Friday afternoon. And so I said, I'll pull it out. And then I pulled it out again. Where was I? I went somewhere else again. I think it's because I'm stitching it with just the 1 floss. And you know me in monochromatic. I love them. This is Sampler Seasons Autumn from Blueberry Ridge. There are all 4 seasons. I only own Autumn, but I will get them all. I will stitch them all. I like this, and I like doing it monochromatic. I am using, what am I using? I am using a variegated floss. It is Fire Lily from Stitchy Stuff Co. So that's what it looks like. This is 18 count. Oh, October's Marigold was on 18 count Ice Clean. I'm not sure if I said that or not. From Bestitchme. A couple times this morning, you know that in your 50s brain fog that really starts to just take over your mind. I had a couple times this morning words I know I knew, and it took me an awful long time to think about them. So that may happen a little bit. Clearly this morning has been a little bit foggy for the old brain. But this is 18 count Dragon's Lair from Bestitchme. And this one is, you can see, I don't know how much you can see the variegation. I control it. No, that's not the right word, because I don't control it at all in that sense. But I do the things that will make it less variegated, because I prefer it to be subtle, especially like with the letters. In some of the other pieces where I'm doing just like there's a leaf, I won't care so much. And so if there's higher variegation in that, it won't matter. But anything with letters or writing, it bothers my eyes to see it variegated too highly. So it's subtle here, and there is a little bit, but this is just really enjoyable to stitch. It's not super long. I'm not quite on either side. I probably got a little bit more here and a little bit there. So they're not huge. I don't know if the back of this tells me. 183 by 124. So, I mean, it's not tiny. But it's not a gigantic piece either. And again, because I'm using just the 1 floss, I find it, just very relaxing to stitch, to be honest with you. And I jump. I did some border on both sides, actually. And then I did some inside stuff. I know I did this entire element, and then I finished the alphabet, and then some of these little elements as well. So, yeah, that's where that is. Alrighty. So that one again, these kind of colors could certainly go for November, right? I know it's November 1st, and I got to tell you, and I generally don't get the itch to decorate November 1st, but I'm kind of getting that Christmas itch this year. I don't know why, but I am. So you might see, I was thinking, there's not a lot of room right behind me. I'm kind of hemmed in here in the corner, but it works for filming. It doesn't take up a lot of my craft room space. And I was thinking to myself, could I fit a pencil tree behind me? I don't know. So maybe one week there might magically be a tree if I think I can fit one behind me. And then I'd only really have to decorate up top, right? Because you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of it. So we'll see. But while we're thinking about it, I forgot to tell you this last week. So this is Blackbird Designs. See, I told you, my brain this morning. This was part of Midnight Watch, and there was way more to the original pattern than what I stitched. I didn't do the border, which is pretty elaborate. I didn't do, there's some stuff right here, some stars. There's an entire alphabet below. I didn't do any of that. And then I put it on this beautiful purple. I had to change one of the greens in order to do so. And then I just loved mixing and matching the checkerboard pumpkins with the fabric here. Not the fabric, the pattern paper. And this is in my scrapbook. So again, for those of you who are new, I scrapbook a lot of my finishes, not all of them. And then I have them in a nice little place that I can flip through whenever I want. So this one now will get put away, but I'll put it here for now, and that will go back in the scrapbook. But I have had that out on my shelves the entire season, just so I could look at it some more. Not where there's, I don't get direct sun here, which is good. So I don't really worry about it with any of my pieces, because this is south facing? No, north facing. This is north. And we have a house right here. So we don't get a lot of direct sunlight into this room. So that's nice too. I don't feel so guilty about putting them out, but they don't have to go out. They can if I want to, or otherwise they just stay in the scrapbook. All right, so moving on. What else did I stitch for my birthday month? This one I did a start. This is Blackbird's Autumn from Pickens. And I am not stitching the entire piece. I'm going to stitch this area right here. I think I might, I'll wait. The very last thing, I may stitch that flower next to the Blackbird. Or I might not. We'll see what it looks like with just the pumpkins, leaves, and the bird. I haven't decided, but nothing else will get stitched. I started this one from the bottom, and I'm going bottom up, which I never do. So this is a whole new thing for me. I did some more pumpkin, and then I got tired of pumpkin. So I decided, I feel like I'm very far away from you today. I decided to do some of the bird, and I have one, two, oh, I do have all three. There's 3 colors to the bird. I have all 3 colors in, but I clearly have some more black, I think, is left besides like the beak and the eye. That'll go quickly, but I kind of, there's 3 or 4 shades in the pumpkin, which makes it look really cool, but I was getting a little tired of that. So I'll probably try to do some more of this pumpkin next, and then I'll have one more pumpkin here, and the greenery goes quickly. So not a lot. I might continue this one and work on it a little bit more to see, let me just hold it like this. To see how far I can get a finish for this year. I would like to do all 4. I'd like to crop down all 4 and not do the entire part. And then I would like to, if I could scrapbook them, I'd like them all on one page. I probably could do that on a 12 by 12 scrapbook page, maybe. I think if I can find the right background for all of them, I thought that would be kind of fun, because then it would be very seasonal. So that's the ultimate plan and goal for that. Let me fold this up. This is 18 count, what is this? Sand Dollar from Bestitchme. And it really is a lovely color. I had gotten an email yesterday from Bestitchme that she had some neutrals ready to ship through this weekend or when they sold out. So I may have popped on over. I really do enjoy Bestitchme fabric. I'm never awake or at my computer at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. So I very rarely do the Friday night fight nights. So when she says she is ready to ship, I usually pop on over. And you'll see some in shopping today, because she had some blues. And you know, if she says I have blue fabric available, if I'm not going over there, who is? Okay, next. This one is a November piece, so you'll see this month. But it does, I realized, have a pumpkin on it. So I pulled it out in October and gave it a little bit of time as well. This is November's Chrysanthemum, also from Cottage Garden, and also part of my garden journal. Now this piece is 2 years. It'll be 2 years this November. So I do want to try to get a finish. These are big flowers, the chrysanthemums. So we'll see. I'd really like to, and I think I have to give it time every week this month now, because we are in November. Yeah, it's November 1st. So if I put the time into it, I think I can get it finished. I have another large chrysanthemum. So this one has only got one of the 2 colors in. I have to fill in all of that. That's completely filled in. I've got another one here. So there's 2 different colors. And again, lots of counting on those. So that's the one part that kind of trips me up a little bit. In Cottage Garden, their charts are lovely. They're color charts, but I never use the original. I always make a working copy, and their working copies, because it's color that I'm making a copy of and I make them black and white, are a little bit harder to read. So it doesn't matter on things like the words, but when it comes over here, it's a little tricky. After the flower and the greenery, that'll be easy. There's not much to that. I have the cornucopia and a couple pumpkins and some corn, and I don't know what the other, I'm not sure what, maybe, I don't know if those are apples or what. So not a ton. I did use a DMC variegated floss for the words, and I really like it. I did that last year. When I pulled it out last November, I was doing, this is actually in a brown and a green, and I wasn't loving it. I had started the words in all of them, I think. And some of them I'm keeping, like the October one I'll keep with the orange and the black. But then a lot of them I've had to pull out because I decided to do something different. And the variegated, the DMC variegated, where they work, are really nice. So this was probably one of the first times I threw out a variegated. And I know you're going to say to me, Laura, it's words, right? But the variegation on the DMC is such that it almost looks like I have 2 different colors of floss that I stitched with, because there's no rhyme or reason here. She kind of just charts one of the colors is most of the letters, and then she throws in another color. So this is predominantly, this is probably half and half, where you've got a darker brown and a lighter one. And the way the DMC variegation seems to be, it goes from one color to the next in a while, and so it makes it look like I've used more than one. And that doesn't hurt my eyes as much as kind of just that excessively variegated words sometimes do. So luckily, because I'm not pulling all of that out now. But goal, 2025 finish. We'll see. Oh, again, see? 18 count. This is called Bambino from Tropical Stitches. They were online. I don't know if they do aida anymore. They might just do more like linens now. I'm not really sure. I have a couple pieces from them that I had picked up at one point. I'm not sure what led me to them, but this is one of the pieces. So it's a very, very, very light blue. You could probably go almost light gray too, but very neutrally. Yeah, I'd probably say more light gray without being kind of like stark white or anything like that. Okay, oh, this is a Cottage Garden week because I have I have at least 4 Cottage Garden pieces to show you. What's this one? Autumn Dream. This was part of the Songbird Garden series. And I knew I wanted to start this one because it had the pumpkin. I love the colors too. So if you watch Kim, Contented Needleworker Kim, or Karen, Stitching Owl, both of them are very good at just picking out, and I've seen both Kim and Karen pick out parts, especially the birds, out of these pieces. And it looks beautiful when they do it. And I could see some of them doing that. But for this one, I love all of the deep, rich orange, red, yellow combos that you get this time of year. It's a color combo that just feels good to me. So I knew I wanted to stitch this whole thing, which I'll be happy. Future Laura will be super happy about that. But present Laura is like, oh boy, there is so many color changes up here. I purposely told myself you're stitching at least 300 stitches this week. And I did. doesn't look like I did much. Hold on a second, let me do this. It really doesn't. I started right smack in the middle up top. And that's what I've got. That is 2 different weeks of stitching. This is an 18 count. It was a fabric of the month from Dying for Cross Stitch in May of 2024. I do not know if she's put it on her. Look at that. And I did purposely make an effort to figure out where on this fabric I did want to start. And I did end up going with this top section right here. And it is just glorious. But that's what I've got. So this one's going to take me a while. This is going to take a lot of pumpkin birthday stitch alongs. Probably before I get to the pumpkin even. So you will see this for several years to come. If I was to look at this for my goals for 2025 on this one, I think just the top section may be what my goal is. Because, yeah, you're changing colors a lot. So I think it's going to look beautiful when it's done. And the flowers themselves, I like how they look. But there's a little bit of muttering under my breath when I'm doing that one. I'm not going to lie about it. Oh, there's another Cottage Garden you're going to see as the very last piece. There was a lot of muttering under my breath on that one. It's going to be beautiful when I'm done. That's all I keep telling myself. All right, so we wrapped up my focus of the month for full coverage. If I could find it. Oh, it would help if I'm in the right album. I was like, I haven't stitched that yet. No wonder, because it's not the right album. This is Minnie Watching the World Go By. It is artwork by Lucy Pittaway, and it was charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, but it has since been retired. Lucy Pittaway is now working with Bothy Threads in kits. So this is actually a picture of a diamond painting of it, because I couldn't find a fully done stitched piece of it. And because it's no longer available to buy as a cross stitch from Heaven and Earth, I couldn't get that either. But you get the picture there with it. And this is how I finished the month. Yay! I did well. If I look at my notes, hold on a second. Now because this was a month focus, I put in 5,079 stitches, and I went from 27.5% to 37.55. So I was able to do, now it's small. I mean, you can see that's the 3 corners right there. I was able to do 10% of this piece, making it a monthly daily focus. So it got stitches on it every single day. And I want to say this week, I didn't really work on the blue sky at all. I just continued working down, and I filled in a lot more of this bottom kind of beautifully colored changing leaves tree from the corner, and then filling in a lot more of the yellows and the greens and all the different shades. So 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1, full cross. And I'm really starting to, I know I'm loving that people are starting to do their 2025 plans. You'll see a 2025 plans video probably mid to later December as a Flossmas Extra, because I really need to be right near the beginning of the year to kind of figure out what I want to do. And we still have a lot of stitching this year left to do. So I'm not sure if I make plans now, I'd probably change them anyway. But I'm sort of flirting with the idea of taking, I probably have about 14 or so, 14, 15 full coverages. There was a couple that I had set aside this year too, and I'm still not feeling a call to them. So they'll still be put aside. Then there's 2 more that I'm nixing. One, because I would redo it on if I get myself up to 25 count, I'd rather do that one on a 25 count because it's huge. And then the other one, I just decided if I'm going to spend my full coverage time, stitching time, that's not what I wanted to do. And then I want to start some more. So there might be some starts thrown in, and then I may focus on, I may take those and have a focus of maybe 5 or 6 of them and see if I could get, you know, a good, like, say 10,000 stitches on those 5 or 6 at least in the year, and then do a smaller amount on the others. We'll see. I'm batting that around, easily subject to change. My oldest whip is this one. It's Kringles, and it is from Little House Needleworks. And I have lots of feelings about this one, and I'm too far gone stitching it to not finish it, is what it comes down to. So May of 2020, I had been back to stitching. I restarted it because I did it years and years and years ago, but I restarted in the fall of 2019. And I kind of bopped along. At the time then, I didn't know about, well, in 2019, I didn't really know about different fabrics. I was still like, just your basics, didn't really know about hand dyed. Even through the first part of 2020, when I started this, I was starting to change fabrics a little bit, but I was not changing flosses. And that's where the big feelings come in on this now. If I could redo this, and I've got to finish this one first, but part of me wants to restitch it the way I would like to, color scheme. I was at Salty Yarns Friday last week, and they had this one. They have this as a model, and it's the full piece. It's not just the way I'm doing it. And all of the ecru was changed to a nice bright white, and it looked so good. And that would be me. I like my snow not to be kind of beige. I like it to be white. So that would be one of the first changes I would have made. And then like this here, all of the reds are kind of that 3777 sort of red. Sort of a brownish red, and these are going to be candy canes. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in a minute. And I would do those, I would do that, a bright red, you know, bright red and white candy cane. So I would brighten this up and jazz it up. You know how I like to jazz up kind of the prim colors. And part of me would love to stitch it again, but I'm not sure I have that in me. And first I have to finish this. So I had a little left to finish here. This room is completely done now. So these 2 rooms are completely done as I'm going to do them. There was some more stuff up here, but you know, I'm clearly, I took out a whole level of the store. I'm mixing and matching and doing it as I want to go along. I've thought about wanting to do, and somebody reached out to me that there's a possibility. I haven't done the math yet. It's probably going to be too big because I'd really love to do a Santa sitting profile on a chair here. Obviously he's got to be small because this is not a huge section. So that'll be the very last thing I do. So on these, what I'm doing is I'm picking and mixing and matching some of the other stuff that's not going in, you know, that I skipped from the rooms I didn't do. And this one here, I'm not doing this exactly, but I liked this room. So what I'm going to do is I started doing, and I did the entire candy cane. I made it taller because this is a little bit higher than what the other room would be. And I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to do it on this side too. So each side is going to have a candy cane, and then I'll pick some stuff from that. Probably the little doggy and the wagon. And I don't know if I'd have room. What I might do then, there's like a little truck. I don't know. I'll figure out. So that will go in this one. And then I'm debating on doing the candy canes again on this side. So this way it looks planned, right? And, you know, kind of that part's matched, but different things in between the 2 candy canes. I think that's what I'm going to do. I am using a petite treasure braid mixed with a DM, so 1 strand of each with a DMC for all of the sparkly stuff. I did that here on the clock. So the chandeliers are almost done. There's a little sparkle. I'm starting to fill in all the little extras on this. So I did some of that as well. Fixed that completely. Started to figure out with the candy cane, so on and so forth. This was part of I Spy, and I did finish at least a minimum of 200 stitches on this one. I think I got more than that, but I did do the minimum. This is an 18 count Artemis from Bestitchme. And if I were to do it again, I actually really like this color, and I think the white, as long as the white would show up. The other one I would go maybe a little bit deeper gray, but I do like the gray actually. with it. But as long as the white would show up, I would pick something along those lines. So it's coming along. Will it be done by May of 2025? Make it 5 years old? Well, that's dependent, right? If I can find something for here. I think I could get these certainly done and have the entire piece besides that one room done. But I have to tell you, it's not 100% my vibe, so I do struggle to take it out. I made it purposely part of I Spy because of that. And it was the last prompt I did because, again, you know, I'm struggling with it a little bit. But I will continue to put it into prompts to make myself continue to work on it. And at the very least, get these rooms done and then really do some research on that. So keep them coming. If you see Santa sitting sideways in his little chair, keep them coming. Thank you so much for all of you who have reached out. The sizing is the issue because it is a smaller room compared to a lot of those pieces would have Santa sideways sitting as more of a focal piece. So that's the goal and the plan, but it definitely is a bit of a struggle. I'm not going to lie. Too far into it though to completely let it go. I will scrapbook that. It will fit in a 12 by 12 scrapbook. So that one's where that one will go when it's done. And it'll be easy to put in the scrapbook because it'll fit the page pretty full. Okay, now another big piece. This one I'm not struggling with as much. Now that I fixed the problem a few, I don't know, sessions ago that I worked on it, this is definitely more enjoyable to stitch on again. This is Summer Quaker from Lila Studio. And I am doing the whole outside first. I hadn't planned it that way, but at this point I'm almost there. So I am just, you know, doing with it. I mean, I don't care. Half of the middle is full coverage, and that doesn't bother me. So that's where I am as a whole. This is done on an 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. I just love this piece for outdoor sort of things. This side completely done. Need a little bit. I think there's a few crab legs that still need to be done. And then, you know, over here, these elements need to be done. But I kind of focused over here. And so I decided, you know what, let's just finish here. And then I'll work my way back this way before going to the center. And what did I do? This piece right here is a huge kind of a Quakery element. And I want to get that in because one of the mistakes in the original, you've seen it before. It says SUM, and then it's got MRE. So the E and the R should be switched. And I put the R up here, and I've got the M down here. So I want to figure out, I think with the R, I had to move something over because the leg of the R was a little bit wider than the E. So the E should fit just fine wherever the R was, but I wanted to get these side elements in a bit more. I think I have, right next to here, I have another crab that has to be done. But if I at least do this, oh, and then there's a kind of a Quakery element here. Maybe if I do this and this, then I can go back up this way. And I'll probably do the E because I want to make sure it fits properly. So, you know, a little bit of finagling there. But coming along, I think all of my time might have been spent in this, but I stitch 500 stitches every time it comes out, and I rotate it every 4th week. And that was 500 stitches in that one section. Very stitch heavy in that section. So next time I might try to finish that up and then kind of go from there. You'll see I pulled out some stuff for this coming week. Not everything, because now we have new challenges starting. So I need to look at those and pull out some projects. But Spring Quaker is the next one you would see. So normally you'd see Mary Poppins next. But because I focused on that for the first little bit over 3 weeks of October and did it every single day, I'm skipping its rotation once. So you'll normally between summer and spring, you'll get Mary Poppins. This way I break up the Quaker pieces because then it's almost too similar. but this week you won't. You'll get them back to back. So stay tuned for Spring Quaker next week. All right, next. So then I have my mini Watching the World as my focus for the full coverage for the month of October. And then I hadn't done, because I was doing Mary Poppins every day, I wasn't doing a lot of other full coverage. But I decided to put Mary Poppins away, and I pulled out, let's see if I can find her. Okay. Oh, here she is. I don't know the official name. I call it Beach Girl in a Red Dress. And I want to say I got it from Simple Wave Studio, and I think that they said that the artwork was from Jennifer Camp. I don't know 100%. I believe that's what it was. I didn't have it in my notes for some reason. We're going by memory, and again, you know sometimes how that works. This one I'm having a little trouble with, so I do have to reach out to the Etsy store, because some of the charted floss colors are not DMC. Those numbers don't exist in DMC. So what I might do is I might do a Google search. They aren't part of my DMC card over there, but I might just Google it and maybe it's something else. But if it doesn't show up, then I've got to reach out to the designer, because some of the colors within the dress were the ones that are mischarted or have a different number that I don't know. So I did, one or 2 days, I did a chunk of beige. That looks more white in the picture. I mean, this is definitely a primer color palette than what the picture shows. Here it shows more white, and here it's definitely beigey, and the dress shows redder and it's more reddish brown. I'm trusting I'll like the process in the end, so I'm keeping with it. And it's not a huge piece. I mean, you can see how wide it is, and then I'm probably halfway done here, so it probably goes to here. So it's not, I mean, it's not like it's a humongous piece. But it's just going to be like this. It's just thousands and thousands of that one. I think it's 822 or something like that. So there's a lot of that. So I did some of that, and then I did start to fill in. I originally started this one as paper, so you can see I have a decent amount of confetti. I'm going back and filling in through the hair, because the hair has quite a bit of confetti. And then the dress itself has swaths of color, but there's parts up here that are confetti heavy. So once I get that part in, then I can get a little bit more control. I'm assuming with all of the beach grass that yes, that will be confetti as well. But now that it's in Pattern Keeper, it might be a little bit easier for me to follow. Again, 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1. And so my goal is to try to get 1,000 stitches into this one before I put it away. And I think I might have, I might have gotten 500 last week. One of these days I just was doing like 200 stitches of beige one day. So I know I got in one day of 200 stitches. I know I've said this before, but if you're new, you'll see me get some good daily work on at least one full coverage, because I'm at night, my working copies I can no longer see very clearly, but I can see on my Pattern Keeper, my device, super easy. And so I'm finding I'm stitching full coverage pieces. Any after dinner stitching, I've been pulling out the full coverage a lot more, unless it was a paper pattern that was extremely clear. I don't think I could read it. So come winter, given that it's darker, you may see a bit more focus on full coverage or things that are in Pattern Keeper, just because I can see them a little bit better. Things like my Celtic Dragon, not full coverage, but in Pattern Keeper. So, you know, it is the way it is, right? We have to adjust to what we can see. I know different people say, you know, I can only stitch on 40 count, for example, in the middle of the day when it's bright or whatever. So it's kind of the same thing for me. I'm just finding my eyes are changing just enough slightly that I have to kind of adjust. And I do that purposely now. Like before, I used to do, say, my 100 stitches for my full coverage focus. I used to do it first thing in the morning, get it done. But now I'm not doing that because I know, okay, I need to be able to save that for later if I want to do any after dinner stitching, you know, if Mo and I are watching something or whatever. And then I do it then. So, you know, you just readjust. Okay. Next. I pulled out, this is going to take me, another one that's going to take forever. Started it in January for the stitch along, the end of January. This is the US Quaker Flag from Vivsters. If you've watched Flosstube, you most likely will have seen, or if you watch a variety, most likely you would have seen somebody stitching this, because there's multiple countries of flags out there that are being stitched. And this is where mine is. Let me do this as a full, and then so that's, I don't know. I have no idea how far over it's going to go. I have no idea. I think I've got this, though. That's as far down as it's going to go. So I know I'm okay there. And I know measuring, I'm fine. I just don't know where. Isn't this pretty? This is 18 count Brave Boromir from those missing stitches. It's a darker kind of bluish gray, and I really like it. What did I do? Well, one thing I noticed, I'm going to keep kicking myself because every time I show this, I realize that I was getting ready and I realized that this blue block has probably about 15 stitches left in it, and I keep forgetting to just fill it in with the blue. So one of these times I have to put a little note in the bag, fill that square in. I finished this Quaker, and that will be filled in again. So 1, 2, so we have 4 across this way plus 1 extra. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 16 of these squares that will be filled in with blue, and then the rest will be just a red Quaker or a white Quaker. So I had this half done. So I finish up this white Quaker, that will be filled in. That will be the lowest that will be filled in, that row. And then I decided what I could have done was gone down and finished this red, but I decided to start filling in some blue up here. I don't remember what I was watching, but I thought, oh, this would be perfect. Just fill in blue. And there's hundreds of stitches in each one of these. I don't know exactly. I've never finished one in a week because I don't stitch that many stitches in a week on one project usually. So this one clearly, I mean, once I get these done and I'm just doing, and you can see what I'd like to do is to start throwing in some of these in between, because that's a lot of fill-in stitching to do 16 of these. But those other ones go much faster because you only have the Quaker to stitch, where here you have to stitch the Quaker, then you stitch the fill-in color. So you've got double. I did make the red brighter. I think this was also like a 3777, and on this fabric, I wanted it a brighter red than that. So I did change that one up. Otherwise, I think I just used the called for color for the blue. I don't know if I changed the white to brighter. I might have. And then the border is kind of like that 939, like that navy black kind of look. All right. I was really hoping, well, in a perfect world, I was hoping I magically had less stitches than I thought I did, and this one would be finished. No. There's definitely a few thousand stitches at least on this one. So it did not get a finish. This is Ireland, and it is from Vlada X Stitch. I kind of confuse Vlada X Stitch with 2x2 stitch art, so sometimes I have to kind of, if I've gotten it wrong, in the description box it will be correct. Just plugging along on this. Every time I have an I in an acrostic, I now throw this one in there because it's perfect, and I really want to get it finished. So that comes in helpful. And I had I's, I think I had multiple. Let me see. What were the acrostics in October? Oh, I only had one I. That's probably why I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. This is 18 count. What is this? Champagne from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. I'm not saying the word Ireland. I'm just stitching the actual country. I've zeroed out a whole bunch of colors up here. And then down here, we get some pretty like floral colors, pinks, different shades of pink. So that'll be nice to add another color in. Right now I'm solidly in greens, and then obviously we have the cliffs, so we have some browns there too. But it's coming along. But like I said, I was hoping, you know how when you unrealistically think I'm farther along than I am. That's what I thought. So, what are the acrostics? I don't think there's a letter I actually in the acrostics. Let me see. No, there are no letter I's. So we'll see if I can throw it in somewhere else this month in one of the games so that it gets a little bit more work. Because if I plug away, won't get finished probably this year, because I think there's the number of stitch count left is a little out of my reach, but it easily could be a finish next year. Okay. Sorry for the snuffles. It's been unseasonably warm here, and so I still have all of my allergy stuff, and the trees are in full autumn bloom right now, so doing the best I can. Alrighty. This one is Librarian's House from Summer House Stitchworks. Oh, I confuse. Let me see if I have, wait a minute. Stone Street, that's what I confuse Stone Street with Summer House all the time. This is Stone Street Stitchworks, excuse me. And oh, my border matched up. That is my biggest excitement on this one. 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. So first thing, I decided to be brave and just work my border around, and it worked. I'm so excited. I was kind of doing some, and you can tell I was doing other things to kind of mix and match, but you just never know, right? And especially something like this, I was fully prepared to see if I'd have to finagle it somehow or other, but I didn't. It matched, and then I said, well, let's also do this kind of floral urn right here. So I did that as well. So finish up here with the greenery. I have hearts, as you can see. See all of these? They have to repeat it all the way down here. And then there's little green things sticking out of all of the hearts. So I have all of that to do. That's the outside. I have here a big section of floral right here, and then I have to finish the house. There are quite a few changes on this. The original is beautiful, and obviously it caught my eye, right? But I wanted to kind of brighten it up a little bit. So my border is a different color. I added a denim blue in there instead of one of the kind of greenish colors, I think. The color of my birds are slightly different. The house, I completely changed to make it to mimic the Noah Webster house that you can find in West Hartford, Connecticut. Noah Webster, if you know the Webster dictionaries and so on and so forth, he's kind of the father of the dictionary, and his parents were actually some of the first librarians, which I didn't know until I did a little research. So I thought that was perfect to add that in there as well. And I'm trying to think if there's any other color changes. Probably some of the greenery along the way. I'm pretty sure this green color is different too. So lots of changes, and I do believe in the description box, my arm's getting tired. I do list my color changes. I basically cut and paste from, a previous time of when I've done this, shown this piece. So sometimes if I can't find it, then I'd have to redo, and depending on whether or not I have the time to refind it all to type it in. But if I can find it in one of my previous videos, then I can just cut and paste, and it's really super easy. But yeah, so you can see, obviously we'll come down here, but I am at the bottom of this now. It's a really lovely piece. The reds are my favorite part out of this whole thing. And so I really enjoy stitching those. And I'll have red and blue, kind of red and the denim blue flowers here. So I'm really looking forward to that too. 2025 finish, what do you think? I think I can do it. Those are always the famous last words for stitching projects. I can finish this. It's not that far. All right, so this last piece. I'm going to fail miserably on the 2024 goal. I needed to see what the fabric was. So I had to look up in last year's Whip Parade notes to see. Oh, this is a November stitch for me, so I pulled it out and said, okay, let's get started on it. It's Turkey Day from, yes, Cottage Garden Samplings. Let's finish it up. This is the last piece I'm showing you, because this is the last piece I stitched this past week. And It's going to look stunning when it's done. I know that. I've stitched other, you know, Cottage Garden. I've not done this whole series. I don't have plans to do this whole series. The series that I like most of them is this current year's house one. The two I may not stitch are the barn, and we'll see what the log cabin looks like. She did announce she's going to have a bonus one, though, which I think is going to be some sort of Tudor or Elizabethan house. So I'm super excited to see that. So these patterns always have tons of different designs and borders in them, this one being no different. I mentioned earlier with Autumn Dream, these charts are quite lovely to read in the sense of, I'm looking at it here, it's color, right? So, okay, that's great. But when you make a working copy, it becomes much harder to see. And given the design on this one, my working copy is very hard to see. So this is the one there was a lot of muttering underneath my breath. And in fact, I got stuff done because I think I put this in for Whip Frenzy. Yeah, I did this as part of my Whip Frenzy. So I did, over the weekend, I touched Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I touched 11 different projects for a minimum of 100 stitches. This one, once I got to the minimum, I was like, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. So you're not going to be able to see a lot of what I stitched here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do on this stop section, all of the border part, and then the fill-in will be much easier. So you have this design, then I think this is going to be the hardest because this design is a little bit different and it's a little darker. These black and white should be a little bit easier. The blue should be. So if I can get through this section, I'll be okay. It's that section that I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing me stitch all sorts of other things, and I'm trying not to leave that to last because I'm not sure I would finish it then. 18 count buttercream from To Die For Fabrics. Not sure if I said that or not. It's going to look, I keep telling myself it's going to look beautiful when it's done, but I got to get through that section. So beyond, you know, filling in that, are there any other tricks, if you've stitched this, that you found helped you with it? Or do I certainly cannot do that unless I can give it a lot of my attention. And it's very slow because my working copy is so hard to see that I stitch maybe 6 pieces and then I have to go back to the working copy, find where I was, and then stitch, you know what I mean? And I'm highlighting as I do the stitch so that I can kind of see if I can see it better. So it is definitely a slog. Most definitely not going to get the turkey. My goal was to get the turkey done in 2024. No, I'll be lucky if I can get that section done. And then, you know, we'll see come 2025. The goal will probably get the turkey done for then. Who knows? So, so that's it. What's happening for November? There are lots of challenges going on that I am participating in. And 2 of them are my own. One I've shared with everybody. One I've kind of made for myself because I don't know if anybody would really want to do it. So we have I Spy. I did put the I Spy, I haven't decorated. I was going to do leaves or something over here. On Facebook, the I Spy prompts have been out for about a day or 2. And I will go to my community tab hopefully today, which is Friday. If not by the weekend, but I'm hoping today while I'm waiting for, you know, the video to upload and things like that, to get those all done. And so you do not have to be on Facebook if you'd like to participate in I Spy. It's a challenge where I come up with 10 prompts and you fulfill them how it works for you and your projects. And you decide what your goal is. For me, I stitch 200 stitches on each one if I can in the course of the month. And I mix and match sometimes with other challenges, kind of cross-challenge them. But the one I will remind you of, if you're not sure, the pie one. Think pie is made with flour, which is wheat, or other types of flour, right? And they can be sweet or savory pies. So I think that's the one that, if you were looking at it, might be like, I don't know what to do. Some of them are kind of gimmies, and some of them might be a little bit more difficult to do. So that's the I Spy challenge. Then I really like kind of I've never done Whip Go, but I kind of like those bingo, like monthly bingo things that Magazine Monthly Challenge does. So they do 2 a year. And I decided, the last one was September. I had my pumpkin birthday sale in October, and I said, oh, November would be a good month. December would be busy. November would be a good month. So I did one. It's 36 squares because it's giving thanks. And I have 25 squares of stitching prompts, 10 squares of kind of like gratitude, thankful, life, whatever, making life better prompts kind of thing. And so I am actually going to pick the prompt for today. And if I pick a life one, then I will also pick a stitching one. So let's find out what I'm going to do for today. This will be nice. On Fridays, I'll pick on my video. And then otherwise, I'll just pick first thing in the morning. I made a copy of that, and then I just cut. Now, you know me, I'm not like a lot of you would have the fancy wheel and you'd spin the wheel. Okay, a stitch with colors that remind me of my favorite fall food. Alrighty, so I have to think about what my favorite fall food is and find a stitch with those colors. And I have no idea where that is on my, oh, here we go. It was right here on my board. So when I do, and I gave myself the goal of 1 to 200 stitches. I gave myself a little bit more leniency on this because there's 25 stitching prompts. But I'll try for 200 because my goal is with these games is to get progress, right? And, okay, so that is day one. What was I going to say? Oh, and I will fill them in with colored pencil. That's what I like to do with these. So I can still see what the prompt was, but I can see when they get filled in. So that is that. And then let's see what else we have. We have the Magazine Monthly acrostic. And we have the Crafts and Books acrostic. And then Whip Warriors is doing a riff off kind of Whip Frenzy this month. So I think I'll do that because that's always fun. I mean, that is easy to just throw in with all the other prompts. They did do something different with categories this month. I don't know if we'll do it. We'll see. Because there's quite a bit there that I'm already doing. And if there's any other, you know, kind of fun, different challenges or games you're doing, I'd love to hear about them. Sometimes things pop up. So, for example, in October, like the Stitch the Chicago Marathon, I wasn't planning that, but I did that. And then we had Oh My Gourd, which was here. This was my pumpkin birthday sale. So those are the pieces. And then this was Whip Warriors had a Knocktober. So I got some finishes. So, you know, I mean, things do come up in the course of the month that I'll throw in, or maybe I'll think of something and I give it a little section in the notebook as well. So those are the plans. That, and like I said, I think it's because I started watching, Hallmark has started showing some on Thursday night. They've been showing Christmas movies. I don't watch them live. I generally, if I remember, I'll just kind of record them. And so I've watched a couple Christmas movies, and now I'm in the mood to start Christmas decorating. So I mean, Thanksgiving's late this year. I want all the trees up by Thanksgiving for sure, because we only have like 3.5 weeks between the two holidays. So we'll see. Maybe up here in my crafting one, I have a big one that goes against that other wall. I'd sure like to put that one up too, because I want to enjoy my crafting ornaments as long as I possibly can. So we'll see. If I do it in November and I keep it kind of through January-ish, then at least I can enjoy it for almost 3 months. So that makes it fun. All right, that's it. Those are the plans that I know of right now. Always subject to change. We have no idea. I'll start a new full coverage focus for the month of November, and then I'll try to continue with my Beach Girl before I try to pick another one. All right, I had a lovely piece of Happy Mail, this birthday card that came from Jan. Isn't that awesome? She stitched that and kind of personalized it, kind of with that monogram, and that, of course, it's all in blues, which, thank you, Jan, that's awesome. And then there's like a toile. It's like a bluish toile for the L. So I absolutely love this. It gave me such a smile when I opened that. So thank you. All righty. Put that over here because that's going to go up there. I want to look at that for a while. I briefly mentioned that we did a quick trip to Salty Yarns on Friday afternoon last week. I didn't get much. I really enjoyed wandering. They have really comfortable chairs at Salty Yarn for those who are not shopping. So Mo is like, oh, their chairs are comfy. So he doesn't mind sitting and, you know, letting me wander. I mean, I wasn't there that long ago, so I just enjoy they're kind of changing out some of the holiday focuses that they're putting out. And of course, their different model pieces kind of change sometimes. So I just wandered a lot, and I got a couple things. For my Thanksgiving Quaker or Grateful Quaker, remember how I said I wanted to look for something for the squirrel? I ended up getting this cocoa bean. I think I'm going to stitch the squirrel in this, and this is from Classic Colorworks. So I went through all of their spinners and went through all of their browns, and this one I thought kind of was nice. So I picked that up for the squirrel specifically. I picked up the Wee Santa 2024 from Heart and Hand. I've done several of these. Well, several might be a strong term, at least 2. So I figured that was kind of cute with the little snowman next to the Santa with the glasses. So I picked that up. I picked up, now this is how I left it in the, I forgot to take it out. This is Shoreline Sampler from Robin Pickens. She came out with a whole bunch of kind of shoreline pieces. And at the time I didn't pick any up. I was looking at them online. I don't know if some of them were available. So when I saw this one, I thought this would be a lot of fun because you could stitch them. You could stitch the piece as is, or you could pick and choose. If I wanted to make like small little ornamenty sort of things, or, you know, something along those lines, or just a couple and make my own like little square box or something. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And if you look on the back, you can see they actually made tiny pillows out of them individually. So that's another option too. So I picked that up. And then the only other thing I picked up was usually in the scrap section of the fabrics for 18 count, it's usually just, it's either, there's sometimes quite a bit of linen, 18 count linen, but it's always like a neutrally color or just whites and things like that. And this itself is neutral, but it is fabric by Stephanie, and it's colonial parchment. And, you know, obviously it was cut off of something else. So I don't have any of Stephanie's colonial parchment. I do use neutrals for certain things, so it's always nice to have. And I love Stephanie's fabrics. So I thought, okay, perfect. I picked that up. And that's it. That's all I got. Then Mo and I went to the Thai restaurant in Ocean City, Maryland, which we absolutely love. Because they close come winter, like dead of winter. They close for 2 or 3 months. I don't even know. So we need to take advantage of going as much as we can. And, you know, we love Thai food. And it's probably the best Thai restaurant we found within, you know, wherever we are. There are some in Rehoboth, but we prefer this one. Plus, it has a regular menu and an entire vegan menu. So, always fun. And then I told you there was ready to ship from Bestitchme, and there was blues. It was a blue section. Well, you knew I had to do that. Plus there was the fabric of the month. I am in the colors fabric of the month. This is an old color I've probably gotten as a fabric of the month before. I've been in Brandy's fabric club for at least 3 years now. And I think it's 18 months where you can start to get repeats. I like Brandy's fabric. I'm okay with that. I like this color. And so I'm okay with that as well. Every once in a while, I get rid of some of them if their repeats or their colors are too close or they're repeating too often. Look away if you don't want to see the fabric of the month. I know I've seen it on other floss tubes at this point. That's the name. I'm sure you'll recognize it. I'll show you the 18 count, what it looks like. The other thing too, that's washing it out a little bit. Let me put it down. The other thing too is sometimes the dye lots of these change as well. So even though I may have this color already, this could be lighter, darker, more rich or less rich than a previous one. So getting a repeat's fine. And then, okay, so what did I get? I got 3 of the ready to ships. This one is called Scotsman, which I don't have, I don't think. And that is a very deep, deep blue. Oh, there's that one, all 18 count. And then we went kind of from, I'm going dark to light here. This one is Aquarius. Isn't that beautiful? So I picked that one up. And then this one is called Frozen Lake. So this is the lightest of them. And probably the most mottled, but again, not crazy mottled. Beautiful. Oh, you know me and my blues. I know you're saying, Laura, you really don't need more blue, but that's my fabric shopping is probably the one thing that I buy. You know how we all have, like, whether it's scissors or project bags or fabrics or whatever, certain types of flosses or whatever. We all have something that we all kind of, you'll notice, like, buy more of something. And for me, it's the fabric. And this way I have fabric. When I want to start something, I have fabric ready to go. So that was my shopping, was the salty yarns and the fabric from Bestitchme. Alrighty, so giveaway. The giveaway was a $10 gift card to Frosted Pumpkin. Basically what I was doing in the past, say, month, is I've been taking different people from Jingle Ball who will be there, designers, and if they offer gift certificates, doing a gift certificate. So Frosted Pumpkin was a $10 gift certificate, and the winner is, oops, I need the other album. Now, this could be, it's either Danette Row 8276 or D Annette Row. I'm not sure exactly 8276. But congratulations, you won the gift card. So if you could get back to me and let me know what's the email address you would like. I don't know if I've ever done a Frosted Pumpkin gift card. So far, basically, each of the places that I've done, has allowed me to put in the address I'd like it to be sent directly to, and we haven't had to worry about codes. So, Danette or Dianette Row. So, Danette Row or Dianette Row. Get back to me, and we'll do that. So, that was when I went through all the other designers that are at Jingle Ball, and none of them have a at least easily available option for gift cards. I didn't contact any of them, but there was nothing on any of the websites that said gift card. So I have a lot going on this coming week. So we're going to skip giveaways for this coming. I won't be picking anybody next week. I won't do one next week kind of thing. And just give me a chance to kind of readjust, settle into the new month. And it kind of seemed like a perfect break since none of the other designers, like I said, I went to every single one of their sites, and none of them say gift card available, like, you know, easily like all of the other sites did. So good time to take a break. They'll come back, don't worry. I just need to take a week off kind of thing. And that's that. All right, so that is all the stitching. So if that's all you're here for, thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. So life, I mentioned last Friday, we went to Salty Yarns and to the restaurant's called Thai Ocha, if you're in Ocean City, Maryland. And as usual, had a lovely time. The order went into the back, and Mo and I at this point kind of know what we like. And so when we walk in first, the woman there, she always knows to bring us the vegan menus. We don't even have to ask anymore if she's the one behind the register. And then she comes back out and she said, I put the order in, and she said, they asked, is this for the Rehoboth people? Because they know we drive down from Rehoboth to go to so we all got a good laugh about that yes, our order is so the same at this point, because we have it honed down to what we really like to eat, and we get enough so that we get another meal out of it. So we eat there, take leftovers, and have a whole nother meal. So we are known as the Rehoboth people down there at the restaurant, apparently. But as usual, phenomenal food. And we've been there with people who don't eat off the vegan menu, and the food is well done there too. So if you're not looking for that specialty menu, you're fine either way. So then Saturday, now we did not go down, but Saturday, the last Saturday, I think, before Halloween, Rehoboth has a humongous kind of parade. It's called the Sea Witch Festival. And there's lots of stuff that go in. I think it's a whole weekend thing, to be honest with you. But the actual parade on Saturdays, huge, like, floats. You know, there's a giant sea witch float and all sorts of other floats and bands and people, all this stuff. It's a parade. So it is so packed down there that I think it's a Saturday usually, on Friday night, and we happen to just drive down and around town, just going home from the restaurant. When we come up from Maryland, there's a certain way I like to go when we go home, and it takes us right through Rehoboth, the main part of the city, town, whatever you want to call it. There was all along the place, people already had all their chairs set up for the next day, kind of thing. There was a section of like 12 chairs that all had ropes around them so that nobody could steal them or take it. It's crazy. So needless to say, people love it, but I don't go anywhere near it. It is, trying to get down there would be a challenge. I'd probably take, like, they have a bus kind of service that I would jump on to go down, but there's tons of people. It's crazy. It's just slightly too people-y for me. I would get a bit anxious with that number of people all around me. So we kind of just do other stuff. And so we had to pick up something for the new car. Our little insurance-y thing, whatever, had come in, and we had to drive up. So as we were driving up Route 1 to go to the place we needed to go, I said to Mo, well, let's just bring our licenses, because Mo was driving, so I wouldn't necessarily have my license. And let's see how there's 2 sections near us that we could have done early voting. Well, it was, I'm going to say it was genius. I don't know if I'd call it that. But on See Which Day, to go to early voting, we literally walked right in. There was nobody. There was people. And when we left, there was a line of people. But we timed it just perfectly. Walked in, got our voting done. So now it just feels like, okay, I'm done. It's taking forever for the actual election day. But we got that because we were thinking we would have gone this past week some point and had to figure out when's the best time, right? And you never know. Oh, it was just so easy. So we did a bunch of errands we went to the grocery store, was fine. Everything. When there's a major event going on, I now know to do all of my errands because I can get in and out of everywhere super quick. So that was kind of what our weekend was. It wasn't, super exciting last weekend, but, we've had busy weekends in October, so quieter. And then this week, I was just off this week a little bit. I'm 55, so you can guess that I am in that time of life where things ebb and flow. Sometimes life is easy, and sometimes it's more challenging, whether it's sleep, whether it's brain fog, whether it's just kind of mentally, you're just not yourself. Hot flashes, whatever it happens to be. And this week, I just mentally was not myself. I struggled quite a bit. And, it was just one of those, one foot in front of the other. Tried to kind of do things that made me feel a little bit better or fed my soul, but I kind of just needed to get through it. Do you know what I mean? And so I have. Last night, Mo said to me, why don't we go out to dinner? Just kind of cap off the week. It was Halloween, but we don't get our community is definitely, it's not designated 55 and older, but it skews 55 and older. In fact, older, say 65 and older. So we knew that, odds were we might not get any kids. We didn't last year at all. So we went out to dinner, early-ish dinner, but we went downtown. It was beautiful. It was 80 degrees yesterday, which is unheard of. I mean, our highs are supposed to be maybe low to maybe mid 60s. It was 80. So we went downtown to the beach, sat for a little bit, went to a restaurant, had some dinner, came home. Now I bought candy. We had the candy in the bowl just in case, because there are some kids I know that live maybe 7, 8 houses down the street, but I don't know where they went. But for the most part, from what I could gather, there really were no trick-or-treaters, so we got none. Now, I don't eat milk chocolate because I don't eat milk. So all of the candy we got, none of it I would eat. So we got candy Mo liked. And whatever he doesn't eat. I mean, Thanksgiving we'll have a house full-ish of people, so I'll just put it out on Thanksgiving if Mo hasn't plowed his way through the candy. And I know I'll buy it every year, even on the off chance that there's one little kid that comes by. I'd feel bad if they didn't have something. So no trick-or-treaters last night, but we kind of capped off the night. The dinner was fantastic, and we had enough. Again, I think that's tonight's dinner. So we're all set. I don't have to cook tonight either. And then, yeah. So what did I read? I finally finished. I did finish Thursday Murder Club from Richard Osman, right? Yep. There's 3 books, I believe, in the series. From what I gather, his newest book is not part of the series. I don't know that for 100% fact. When I asked about this book, everybody said it was kind of like a cozy mystery, British cozy mystery, and that is exactly what it is. It takes place in so they call it a retirement village, you know, I think of kind of like an assisted living where, because there is like different rooms and activities and things. I think there is I can't remember if there's like a cafeteria. So think of it along that time, but everybody, you know, it's not a nursing home. Everybody is still, you know, for the most part, unless they're part of a couple and one of the spouses is not as healthy as the other. But you know what I mean? It's more of a villagey type of place. So you basically have 4 main characters, and they are the sleuths, and you know, they come with various experiences from their entire life kind of thing. And I really enjoyed it. It really is, as I read it, it is a cozy mystery for sure. And I will definitely be reading. It looks like here, The Man Who Died Twice and The Bullet That Missed are the 2 other titles in this series. So you can bet I'll probably be reading them as well. And I believe I don't know if it's Netflix, but one of the streaming services, I don't know if they're making a movie or a TV series out of this. But I know there is something coming, a streamed version of this. So that's why I wanted to read it, because I was intrigued by them making this into either, like I said, I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show. So, and I'll be looking forward to watching it. Well-known names are going to be in this adaptation. I guess that's what you want to say. So that's what I've been reading, and then I will talk about we have Mystery Book Club on Thursday is when we meet. Not Thursday, next Tuesday. So I'll talk about that book. I'm not done with it yet. I'll talk about that next week. And then what am I watching for TV? Mo and I are rewatching season 1 of The Diplomat. If you have Netflix, it's a TV show where Carrie Russell is appointed to be the ambassador to England from the US, and then what happens? It is a very well written show. There's snappy dialogue that kind of reminded us of West Wing to a certain degree. And season 2, I believe, started last night. So we wanted to, I don't know about you, but the streaming services, it's like a year between the seasons. So we almost always rewatch the previous season to kind of, I know vaguely what, well, the very last scene I remember because it was a cliffhanger of this series, but I don't remember what led up to it. So we're going to rewatch the season, and then we can get started on season 2. So no spoilers, but are you getting ready to watch season 2 of Diplomat? And like I said, if you kind of like that sort of vibe of show, and you have Netflix, I would recommend it. I enjoyed it. And she's not necessarily she's a doer as an ambassador, but she doesn't necessarily want to be there. So it's really kind of, you know, kind of fun and interesting. But anyway, so that's kind of what we've been watching. And that's about it. Alrighty, so as we end this week's video, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. Do what fills your cup, right? You know, these are definitely kind of stressful times right now for us in the US. And so I do want you to take care of yourself. Remember, you matter. Every single one of us has worth, and we matter. And so doing something for you is important, and it counts because you are important. So please always remember that. And until next time, happy stitching.